Tartary or Great Tartary was a name used from the Middle Ages until the 20th century to designate the great tract of northern and central Asia, stretching from the Caspian Sea and the Ural Mountains to the Pacific Ocean. Inhabited mostly by Turkic peoples after the Mongol-Turkic invasion, it incorporated the current areas of Pontic, Caspian Steppe, Volga, Urals, Caucasus, Siberia, Turkestan, Mongolia, and Manchuria. Geography and history. Tartary was often divided into sections with prefixes denoting the name of the ruling power or the geographical location. Thus, a Western Siberia was Muscovite or Russian Tartary, Xinjiang and Mongolia were Chinese or Cathay Tartary, Western Turkestan was known as Independent Tartary, and Manchuria was East Tartary. As the Russian Empire expanded eastward and more of Tartary became known to Europeans, the term fell into disuse. European areas north of the Black Sea inhabited by Turkic peoples were known as Little Tartary. The Camel Desert of the Tartary was mentioned by Immanuel Kant in his Observations on the Feeling of the Beautiful and Sublime, as of great far-reaching solitude. East Tartary and Maritime Tartary are old names for the Manchu inhabited territory extending from the confluence of the river Amur with the river Ushuri to Sakhalin Island. This area is now the Primorsky Krai with Vladivostok as regional administrative center. These lands were once occupied by the Moche tribes and Jurchen nation, and also by various old kingdoms including Goryeo, Bala, Liao and the kingdoms. According to Shengwu Ruchi's Ming Dynasty Chronicle, in this land the Tun, Guswehi, Walker and Khurka tribes were established. Later these were unified in Manchu Qing Empire with Nurasi as their leader and founder. These lands were lost to Russia under the Treaty of Peking. Nearest this land lies the Kuyidao or Fusang Island, better known as Karafuto or Sakhalin. In recent times Russian archaeologists have found here remains of ancient cities with walls and castles. These may correspond with the ancient Manchu nation, or possibly during Mongol or Tungus times, or the Bala kingdom. From these lands and nearby Hunan, the Japanese have claimed North Asian ancestors, who settled North Japan. Other ancient cities in the region are Tetyuka and probably Deleng, an important commercial imperial post according to some records. Tartary in fiction. In the novel Ada by Vladimir Nabokov, Tartary is the name of a large country on the fictional planet of Anti-Terra. Russia is Tartary's approximate geographic counterpart on Terra, Anti-Terra's twin world apparently identical to our Earth, but doubly fictional in the context of the novel. In Puccini's last opera, Turandot, Calaf's father Timur is the deposed king of the Tartars. In Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials novels, the European main characters often express fear of Tartars, a term apparently referring to many Asian races, as the story takes place far from Mongolia. In Macbeth by William Shakespeare, the witches include Tartars' lips in the potion. In Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein pursues the monster amidst the wilds of Tartary in Russia, although he still evaded me. I have ever followed in his track, in Great Expectations, by Charles Dickens. Herbert Pocket describes Estella Havisham as a Tartar because she was hard and haughty and capricious to the last degree, and has been brought up by Miss Havisham to wreak revenge on all the male sex. In The Pied Piper of Hamelin by Robert Browning, the Pied Piper mentions Tartary as one of his credentials in pest removal to the mayor of Hamelin. In Tartary I freed the Cham, last June, from his huge swarms of gnats. In his short work with E. Hoffman Price, Through the Gates of the Silver Key, H.P. Lovecraft briefly mentions Tartary. Upon their cloaked heads there now seem to rest tall, uncertainly colored mitres, strangely suggestive of those uncertain nameless figures chiseled by a forgotten sculptor along the living cliffs of the high, forbidden mountain in Tartary. The Squire's Tale from Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is set in the royal court of Tartary. In Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels, the eponymic hero refers to his travels in Tartary on 2 occasions, and suggests that the then-modern geographers of Europe were in a great error by supposing nothing but sea between Japan and California, for it was ever my opinion that there must be a balance of earth to counterpoise the great continent of Tartary. L. Frank Baum's Origin Story of Santa Claus, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, features mythical antagonists from Tartary who oppose Santa's compassionate gift-giving practices. They are described as the three-eyed giants of Tartary. In Matthew Arnold's poem Sohrab Rustum, the poem begins with, "And the first ray of morning filled the east, and the fog rose out of the Oxus stream. But all the Tartar camp along the stream was hushed, and still the men were plunged in sleep." Citations: Dickens, Charles. Great Expectations. Chapter 22. Peter Fleming. One's Company and News from Tartary, later published together as Travels in Tartary.